Go ahead.
Hi, Michelle. My name is Cynthia Curiel, and I'd like to say that I have totally recovered. It's 2017, the summer of 2017. My journey started about a year and a half ago. I figure I'm a person that can deal with a lot of stress and can handle a lot, especially having been in the military. And so we were going through a lot of changes, me and my family. We were having a home built and planning on having my spouse's parents move in, as well as my mom, and then the kids starting new school. And we had a lot of issues going on with the builder and the parents, both sets of parents moving in, as well as issues at work and the whole transition of moving. I started to notice my hair was falling out, and I thought nothing. I thought, okay, this is genetics. That's normal. I didn't connect the dots, and other things started to happen. I started to have little breakouts here and there. And what threw the wrench in was I woke up one morning and both of my ankles were swollen. And I thought, okay, maybe it was an activity that I did with my kids. This is really weird. So I waited. I took Advil and waited for the swelling to go down. No, I went a week with swelling in my ankles, and it got to the point to where I couldn't even walk. So I went to go see my family practitioner, and the practitioner said, you sprained both Achilles, and let's get all these x-rays done. And by the way, we're going to send you to an orthopedic specialist just to see what's going on. And they gave me pain medication. Nothing worked. And they did x-rays, and no, there was no broken bones. There was no strained muscles. So they kept doing all these tests trying to figure out what was going on. And finally, the orthopedic specialist put me on methotrexate. And all of a sudden, the swelling went down. And it was really weird because I felt like my body, it was a weird feeling, like sucking the life out of my body. And I still couldn't walk. And it took about a week. And I had to go to work in a wheelchair. Actually, this whole time, it was about a total of about a month and a half. And during that time, I had numerous ER visits because I thought maybe the doctors don't know what they're talking about. Maybe I have a blood clot, and maybe there's something they're missing in the x-rays. And I was misdiagnosed a couple of times. So finally, the orthopedic specialist ran blood tests, and the test came back positive ANA. And he said, listen, I can't help you. You've got to go somewhere else. I can't do anything for you. So I felt lost at the time. And the first thing you think to do is go and look on the internet. And I freaked out after reading what ANA positive is related to. And so I went to see my family practitioner right away, and off the cuff, she says, it could be lupus. And I didn't know what to do. I said, how could it be lupus from the swollen ankles and everything? I don't have all the other signs and symptoms, the traditional signs and symptoms from what I've seen on the internet. And she said, well, let's see what else we can do. I'm going to send you to a rheumatologist, and there's nothing else we can do here. So I felt like I didn't know where to turn to or who to go to. I wasn't getting any answers, and I felt so impatient. I started getting anxiety. And at the same time, I had been misdiagnosed at the ER by my family practitioner, the orthopedic specialist. So out of desperation, I finally ended up finding an integrative specialist. And this was through a friend. And she did a number of tests, and she told me, we can help you. We can save you. There's a catch, though. There's going to be a number of treatments, and it's going to cost thousands of dollars. And if it's thousands of dollars or your life, you're going to use your life spending whatever you have to save yourself. So I felt desperate. She talked me into the treatments, and I spent about 4 months with her doing homeopathies, UVLRXs, all these new treatments I'd never heard of. I wanted to feel mentally that I was getting better. I tried, but physically it felt like it was sucking the life out of me. Not once did we discuss nutritional deficiencies or my eating habits or whether we should do any leaky gut tests, which was very puzzling to me. So I said, there's something that I'm missing here. I don't feel good. My hair is falling out even more. My skin started to break out. I started to get like a rosacea type of rash. I had different types of symptoms. I had aches, body aches and pains all over the body. And every time I'd ask her, hey, what is this related to? Don't worry about it was her answer. And she'd just give me a number of supplements. So I was taking at least 20 supplements, maybe a little bit more than that. And I wasn't seeing any results. And I was desperate, and I knew we had a beach trip coming up, and I wasn't going to ruin it for the family. So I started desperately searching the internet for people who had healed themselves. And something that I did leave out was that during all of this time with my anxiety, I had trouble breathing. And so I was rushed to the ER, and they did a CAT scan, they did x-rays, and they discovered nodules in my lungs. I even had to go to an oncologist. I had to go through a PET scan, MRIs. That's very frightening, especially when they don't know what's going on. And hearing from the ER doctor he could have leukemia or lymphoma, I thought my life was over. So that's when I started to, I said, this cannot be happening. This is not my life. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to go down that easy. So I started to seek out people who had healed themselves, because I realized the medicine and the treatments that all these physicians were recommending was going to lead me down a path where it was not going to be a good thing, a good outcome. So that's when I came across the thyroid cure. And I read the book. I read your book within a couple of days, and I felt like, okay, here's the light at the end of the tunnel. And I followed the diet. I followed the phase 1 plan. I started to feel better. And I know a lot of that was mental too, because I had a different attitude. I knew that I could save myself if you healed yourself. And I also searched out others who had healed themselves almost the same way, through nutrition, through healing their deficiencies. I said, if they can do it, there's hope for me. This is the last chance I have, because we had run out of funds for the treatments and everything else. And so that's when I reached out to you, and here I am now, a year and a half later, ANA free, well, testing negative now. My blood tests have come back normal. I'm running 5Ks, 10Ks. I'm going to CrossFit twice a week. I'm doing yoga. It's good. I have a hard time with the eating. I do maybe 90-10. But I do eat clean, and I've transformed my family's eating habits too. My son's allergies have gotten so much better. My spouse too was able to come off of the high blood pressure medication. So good things have happened.
That's awesome.
And I'm thankful for you.
That's awesome. Well, you just did a spectacular job and with healing yourself ultimately, you know. And I wanted to ask one question that I think would be really helpful for people is, if you had to give someone who was in your position a recommendation, or what would you want to say that would be inspiring to them?
The first thing that I would tell them was, there is hope, never give up. If I can do it and millions of others who are not on the internet recording their stories, there is hope. Because I've seen and heard so many miracles. So many people have saved themselves and they lead a healthy life. And I would say that, yeah, there is hope. Never give up. I would also recommend the first thing to do is right away change your eating habits. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of websites, for example, yours, mm-hmm. who recommend the phase 1 plan, which is almost mirrored with all the others, like Dr. Axe, all the other physicians I've read, Mark Hyman. They all mirror everything that you have recommended, and they've helped thousands of people. So I would recommend changing the eating habits. At first it seems overwhelming and you feel like, I can't do this. Oh no, I was a coffee fanatic, but I'm fine. Life goes on. There are other substitutes, and you actually learn to appreciate your life and the new foods and the new way of life, and actually feel better than I did years ago.
Yeah, you look great.
I lost 50 pounds.
Wow.
By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lost 50 pounds. I look at my old photos and I'm just shocked that nobody told me, you don't look good, you look overweight. You know, I know my mom and my whole family was worried about me, but they were nice. They were being nice, and until all of this happened, then the truth comes out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I would tell everyone out there, there is hope. And if you don't find it with the physicians, get a second opinion. Look at functional medicine. The functional medicine tests are amazing, finding the root cause and removing the splinters, as you say. And it does take time. Patience is very important, which was hard to come by for me. But I'm finally over the anxiety and able to deal with a lot of other things that I didn't think I could deal with.
Well, I just want to congratulate you. It's been a wonderful journey working with you, and you look amazing. And
I know I have stressed you out many times. My emails and phone calls. I appreciate your patience.
No, it's been wonderful working with you. It's just a blessing to have you, and to see you move off into your life and live your life, to be free of doctor's visits and not have to deal with that anymore is, it's wonderful. I mean, I don't get any calls from you anymore. So
I know.
that's why, I miss you, but I think it's so great that because you've healed. So
But I always know that you're there to answer my questions, or I've recommended a lot of people to you who have had issues where the doctors can't figure out what is going on with their bodies. And there's so many people out there. I look at people differently now, and I see the signs of inflammation, and I want to tell them, you don't have to live that way.
yeah.
It's not that hard. And, getting rid of gluten is key.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Especially for children. And it's not too late for kids. I'm doing that with my kids right now, because it's had a great impact on their allergies and colds that they would normally suffer.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really great advice. I know that the community will really love to hear that, because it's some people feel really afraid of taking their kid or making changes for the family nutrition, but it's so critical. And like I say, once one person in the family heals, everybody else, it heals the whole family essentially when a mom heals. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And my kids have adjusted to coconut and almond milk. They're fine, and they tell the kids at school they have gluten sensitivities, and it's normal to them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they're fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is wonderful. It's been a great testimonial, and I appreciate you giving your time and sharing your story with my community, because it's ultimately the world, because hopefully we can get this message out that autoimmune conditions can be completely healed. So thank you.
You're absolutely right. And when you kept telling me through this whole process, you're going to be fine, you're healing, I didn't believe you, because I had issues going on. And it's like each day I see a new change, like I'm improving. It's strange. I'm not used to it. And I can't remember what the pain used to feel like before. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I'm so happy for you.
And I'm grateful to you and Jill and all the support that you've given me.
Awesome.
Especially my family. I know I put them through a lot.
Well, they were part of it. I mean, you guys all did this together, So I mean, you did the brunt of it, but it takes a village, So
Yeah, it does. And I've had a lot of support from Julia.
Yeah.
She's sitting here listening, but yeah, I'm so thankful for that.